Welcome back, everybody. The History Guy here. This is episode 2, playing as the Confederate States of America in the Hearts of Iron 4 mod, End of a New Beginning. In the description below, you will find a link to episode 1 if you did not see that yet. There is also a kind of a prequel to episode 1, which there's a link in episode 1 for that. It's basically my preview of the mod, which includes kind of me playing through the first couple of years leading up to the American Civil War. So we are at the end of October 1863. We're into November now. And I just want to kind of highlight something that I was looking over, and that is that once we get through everything on the Confederate focus tree, and you get down to Golden Dixie, which is basically where we're at since we won the war, so it wouldn't be decimated Dixie. It says here, this is the end of the CSA focus tree as of the current update. So I'm guessing we don't get to flip back over to another focus tree. That may be where it ends. So at least as of now, there may not be a lot more for me to do on this mod. But we'll work our way through the focus tree and see what else we can kind of do as the Confederate States. There may be a limited amount of things I can do. Something to think about as I think toward expansion of my country. The Monroe Doctrine is in effect, which basically means that I'm guessing the United States is guaranteeing pretty much every nation here in the Western Hemisphere. So anybody I try to go to war with, for example, Mexico, is going to be guaranteed by the United States. So I'm guessing that my best option, if I'm going to go to war, if I'm going to expand, is probably going to be to have to take out the United States of America altogether and just kind of form one nation as the Confederate States. So that's probably the direction I'm going. Also, as I'm thinking ahead, I'm looking at political power. I don't have a lot of it right now, but there is something I'm going to want to do with that, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Let's go ahead and see what else we want to do here. I guess we're going to go down, open the dockyards, work on our industry a little bit. Here's what I want to show you is under the decisions. Right here, there's a couple of things. Begin industrializing is what I'm looking at. It's going to take 250 political power to do it. So it's going to take a while. But I believe that'll probably open up some additional things that I can do here where, you know, we've got Victorian era and we can go to the pre-industrial era. We can go from an agrarian society into industrializing. So those are things I definitely want to be able to do, and it'll take some time to be able to do that. So I've got 76 divisions right now. I don't know how many the United States has. I'm guessing I probably can't see that. Well, let's take a look. It looks like he's got a pretty big navy, only 7 military factories, between 31 and 40 civilian factories, and somewhere between 21 and 44 divisions. So I've got a significantly larger army than him if I do decide to go to war. Chaos in Schleswig-Holstein. After some affairs have taken place in Denmark recently, there've been a lot of trouble erupting in Schleswig-Holstein. Saxony and Hanover are freely marching through. So yeah, we're getting into the 1860s. We're going to see a lot of things happening in Germany as we work toward German unification. And we'll probably then possibly see that war erupt between Germany and France. Yeah, there we go. We're going to start seeing war happening here in Europe. A lot of things just happened all at once. Let's take a look at that current war. There's actually a French-Vietnamese war going on. France is going to take Indochina. That's going to directly result in the Vietnam War someday down here. And we can see here just a lot of things. The Ottoman Empire still exists at this time. Austrian Empire is fairly huge. Germany's going to work toward reuniting. So all that's going down. I think I'm going to use some of my military power to... I'm not currently recruiting any divisions. My military experience, we're going to go ahead and add support artillery to my infantry regiments. It's not really going to change much of anything, but just little things I can do there. And I want to start producing artillery as well, which I am actually kind of producing at the moment. I guess not. Here, let's kind of lower what we're producing there and start working on artillery additions. So it's being stockpiled. I guess that's not actually how we do that, let me take a look and see what's going on here. Maybe we just need to, instead of producing the infantry regiments, let's look at infantry regiment with support. They've got light infantry and then support artillery there, so maybe that's what I want to do right now. Okay, so it's actually the 10-pounder Parrots that I need to do that. So it looks like I need about 1,700 of them to get all of my units up to speed and to start producing my new ones. So we'll just start working on maybe just 2 infantry regiments with support at a time, in addition to the ones that I just updated. We're going to continue working on industry. Let's go ahead and add some infrastructure and civilian industry. We're going to work our way down. And I think once I start industrializing, I think I'll start thinking about ramping up to war with the United States. I feel like I'm in a good place to do that right now, just because of how small their army currently is. So I feel like I can compete with that. What I don't have is manpower. But there's a way around that as well. Maybe after I do civilian industry, we're going to focus on recruit the young. That's going to improve my recruitable population. We've still got a number of things we can do here before we completely max out on all of the focus tree. And it's taking a long, long time on the political power. So I might have to look at ways to increase the speed of my political power growth as well. Let's take a look real quick here in March of 1864 at what's happening out in Germany. It looks like that war is all but over there. The Austrian-Holsteiner War. Austrian-Danish War it's showing here. So, yeah, really not much contest. They're outnumbered like more than 20 or more than 10 to 1. So it's not going well there. And there's a couple of wars out east as well. All right, a couple things here. End of April 1864, we finished this national focus. Also, partial economic mobilization is damaging the American economy. They want us to go back to demilitarizing. That's going to improve my ability to build civilian factories, which actually is probably what I want right now anyhow. Let's go ahead and recruit the young so we can get some additional population to ramp up the manpower a little bit. Right now my core population that's available is 9.7 million. There are some things I can do research-wise. Actually, a lot of things I can do research-wise that are going to help grow my population and thereby grow my recruitable population. So we'll work on those things as well. Most of my army, fully half of my divisions, are trapped over here on this peninsula, and I have no way to get them back over to the mainland. It keeps telling me that I can't transport them to a non-naval base location. Well, I've got a huge naval base in Norfolk, but it still won't let me transport them there either. So I'm guessing it's because I don't have naval bases here. So let's take a look for just a second, see if I can actually construct a naval base right there and thereby solve the problem. It looks like maybe that'll do the trick. So let's start ramping up that. As soon as I finish the current military factory in Tennessee that I'm working on, maybe that'll allow me to be able to start transporting these guys across here. In the meantime, not a lot happening. The war ended over in Europe, so let's take a look at that. Not a lot changed really, but I know that more things are going to be happening. I'm curious to see if I can look at Prussia's national focus. So they're working on their navy right now, but they've got a lot they can do. It just doesn't look like they're really doing any of it so far. There's a lot over here. I think right here we've got a new Germany, but there's a lot of things over here related to elections, related to growing, and they aren't doing any of them right now. So I don't expect to see a whole lot, at least out of Prussia for now. Let's look at what we can do for growth. Monthly population plus 6%. A little bit ahead, but we'll go ahead and start working on that one. July 1864, Recruit the Young is complete. And where are we now? We're all the way down here. We can get the CSS Virginia, but I don't have the technology to do that yet. And we can't go to debate our scouting until we do, so I'm going to have to get the 1861 frigate going as soon as possible while I work on these other couple of things. So let's see when my next research is. I probably have several things I need to do before I can get to the 1861 frigate. I guess not. We've got the 1855, and then we're there. And we've got a nice boost. It's only going to take me 36 days to get that one. So that's not too bad. As soon as I finish up standardized gauge, then we'll work on that. And then in the meantime, looking at construction, very soon we'll be able to nail down this naval base. Looks like I would guess I'll probably have it done late in 1864 once this is done. And then we can get these troops home finally. And then I'll probably start thinking about justifying war on the United States. We've got to watch for this manpower to start growing first, because I'm just not comfortable with where my manpower is yet to go to war with them. I just wouldn't have the troops to replace. So I've had a couple of events now. This America Stand United has happened. This is my second time, and every time I get it, I can accept that and get this political power, but I'm over 250 now, which is the magic number I was waiting on. So we're going to choose this time gains diplomatic means, which gives me a 25% relations opinion boost and same ideology monthly opinion plus 50 for 90 days. Well, you know what? That doesn't last. Okay, we're going to take the political power again. There's standardized gauge. So let's go ahead. Don't forget our traditions. We're very close on this. This is going to happen by October 1864. We'll start getting the naval base so we can move the troops home. And now we work on the frigate. So let's go ahead and get that 1855 frigate. It'll take 39 days to get that. And I can go ahead and make this decision. We're going to begin industrializing. So let's go ahead and see what that does for me. If that opens me up to make these changes. Not apparent. Well, maybe this one. I guess we'll see. No, that one isn't allowed yet, but I'm hoping maybe the one. All right, so we did. I see what it did. Instead of agrarian society, it automatically switched me over to industrializing. So it looks like a number of things happened there, including better political power gain. So that's nice. So everything I can do to start industrializing the South absolutely is going to be helpful. I want to take one look at the Union and see if he's growing his divisions. Hey, man, we're going to keep getting this. This is awesome. Because of the period of peace and prosperity, I keep getting these political power boosts, which is fantastic. I love that. He's still got a pretty small army, so I'm pretty happy about that. So there's 1855 frigate. Now we can go and get that 1861 frigate. It's going to take 129 days, so that should work out nicely. We're going to upgrade our production of frigates to the next one. Continue to work on these guns. I'm still only building about 3 a week, but that'll eventually catch up and do better. Let's take a look at our decisions real quick, see if there's anything else I can be doing. Develop the American homeland only adds a building slot. That doesn't really help me right now. But we can modify the government, so I want to take a look at some of the options here. I'm thinking that a political advisor is the way to go. Civilian industry, or factory construction speed, and infrastructure, which are the 2 things I'm building right now. Let's go ahead and take that bonus. And then we have built the first factory there, and it looks like, naval base, and it looks like it worked. My whole army got transported successfully across. That's great news. The army is back on the mainland, and now we start to get them on the border here. And I think I'm kind of aiming for 1870-ish to go to war against the North, but I also know that the longer I wait, the longer his factories allow him to catch up to me in terms of the army size. But my manpower is building up, as well as my population, so those are 2 things that I desperately need. December 1864, I'm going to also choose the infrastructure expert for my political advisor. Every little boost I can get to what I'm constructing, I think, is going to be helpful for me moving forward. And we're going to continue working on infrastructure, because my infrastructure is absolutely awful. It was 0 in Kentucky. It's 1 in Missouri. It's a little higher in places like Texas and Virginia, but a lot of places just really, really poor infrastructure. So we've got to work on our economy. We've got to build that. We've got to catch up to the North in those things. And the other thing is we're working on industrial might. And then once I do that, then we've got to switch over here to the CSS Virginia. So I might be a little bit off on time. I think I'm probably going to be done with that national focus before I am able to actually choose the next one, because I'm still 66 days away from 1861 frigate. So for at least a little while, I'm probably going to have to go down here. Let's see if I even have that. Yeah, right here. And do something like fund the civilian industry for a little while, or stabilize it. I don't really need the stability. My stability is already really good. It's at 90%. So 1865. Happy New Year. There's 1861 frigate. Now we can, number one, we can upgrade the frigates we're producing. We're also going to be able to select another research slot. We've got the humanities over here. Looks like military factory construction speed, daily political power gain, and monthly population. I'm surprised I should have probably done that one sooner. All right, now let's go back over here. We can go off of fund the civilian industry, and we can go back up here to try to start completing this tree, get all the way down. 205,000 now in my manpower, so that's building up more and more all the time. The only problem with Missouri is that gives me this big bulge, but that also presents an opportunity. When I do go to war, I'll probably make a beeline for Chicago so I can split the U.S. in two. So I'm looking around at things, and I found a glaring hole in my industry, and it's right here. I need 41 units of steel for my production lines, primarily my guns, my artillery. I don't have enough, and I don't believe there's a way to trade for it. I also have a shortage of tungsten. So what I've got to do is I've got to produce some steel mills. So we're going to start queuing those up. I think we'll throw one in Virginia. We'll throw one in Louisiana and Texas, just because those are the places with the best infrastructure right now. So I'm going to queue those up right behind my current infrastructure production in Kentucky. In fact, we're going to throw those ahead of that. So we're going to start working on those right away. Looks like my first one will be completed by July. So that'll start helping to offset some of those problems that I'm having in that realm. Into June of 1865, we're about to complete Industrial Society, so that's very helpful to have. Let's look at what else is available here in this path. We've got stability, political advisor costs, factory output, political power gain, construction speed, but a hit to political power gain. But that still may be the way for me to go right now. Nothing in special projects. We've got a few things in ethics and instruments, but I'm not entirely sure any of that's real helpful. I think we'll go ahead and go with that. Public Works for now. And we are also about halfway through debate on our scouting, and then we have a choice to make here. I'll probably go with rehabilitate our generals, then we'll have Total War, Golden Dixie. So by the end of, probably into 1866, we will have completed this focus tree. I'm just curious to see if it just ends there as far as the focus tree goes, or if it at least switches me back to like a vanilla focus tree. I'm kind of curious about all of that, so we'll find out very soon. All right, into September 1865, we finished the National Focus rehabilitate our generals. We've got to do continue. Oh, we don't have to do both. We just have to do one or the other. Let's hit Total War, and then we'll be on to Golden Dixie. In the meantime, I also have a decision that I want to make here, and that is to start encouraging population growth. It's going to increase my monthly population is going to go from plus 5% to plus 15%. It's going to hurt my political power gain. It's going to give me a little hit to consumer goods factories, but that's a trade-off I'm willing to make because I want the manpower. Right now, my core population available is 9.94 million. We want to improve that as much as humanly possible to give myself more manpower. All right, there's Total War. We're in December of 1865. We have just one national focus left, and that is Golden Dixie. I guess we can bypass it because we have already won our independence. And there you have it. So, national focus is complete. It does not appear I'm going to get a new one. So now we just start using these. I'm going to use fund the civilian industry right now. That's about all I can do. Got a couple of new divisions in the field here. So yeah, I mean, this is a work in progress. This is a mod that is still being developed. So obviously, that's something that will come down the road. And they have said that they have a newer version of the mod that's available elsewhere, just not on Steam. And so I'm not using that particular newer version at the moment. But yeah, I mean, that's it for the Confederate focus tree. There's a lot more available in other nations. But we'll play this out a little bit. Kind of see how it goes. I'm thinking I'm kind of getting antsy to grab those factories that the North has. He's got a lot of civilian factories, so I kind of want those. I don't know where he's at right now. Let's see what cannot stand. So he's just gaining stability and things like that. So let's go ahead and start queuing this up. We won't go to war with the U.S. in this particular episode. That will be for episode 3, but I'll at the very least get it going. That dramatically increased the world tension, went all the way up to 31%. And we're into the new year, 1866. So we'll start queuing this thing up. We will get ready. My goal right now, you can see I've already issued my orders, and my initial orders are to push through and again split the Union in two. If I can grab Chicago, push up into Ohio, and then just maybe send an army up here to take Washington, Philadelphia, New York, and Boston. We'll see where that puts me. That may be enough to win the war. Okay, it's October 10th, 1866. Our justification is complete. Here's the situation. I only have 160,000 manpower left, but that's because what I did was I went in and edited my divisions and added some additional units to each division to make them bigger. And that ate up about 100,000 of my manpower. But I think that's going to be enough to do the trick here. I'm hoping that's enough to do the trick. But we're going to find out here in just a second, because we are going to go ahead. I thought I was going to wait till next episode, but this episode I don't believe is actually that long. So we're going to make this happen right now. We are back at war with the United States. Round 2, and we're off. I don't see any divisions on his border. Now, I'm sure they're there. I just don't see them for some reason. And you can see they're there because I'm fighting and I'm losing in a lot of places right now. So I think we'll go ahead and maybe go ahead and start issuing some orders. Let's see if we can't cut him off into thirds here. Let's take a look at the fielded manpower. 500,000 for me. Less than 40% of that for him. So I definitely have a much, much bigger army. So it's really just a matter of time. We're going to go ahead and march right up into Colorado, because it doesn't appear he's got a lot going here. I guess we'll go ahead and take San Diego and Los Angeles. Maybe even march all the way up into San Francisco. Okay, so he does have some units here. I don't see them for some really strange reason. All right, we're marching up into Iowa. We're making our way towards Chicago very quickly. If we can get him encircled, that'll be especially helpful. I just wish I could see where the heck his divisions are. Working our way into Maryland. Washington's going to give me some problems, I think. Looks like I've already lost 12,000, so I'm very quickly going to exhaust my manpower. But there's only a certain level to which he can fight me off. He has increased his number of troops in the field dramatically already, so division recovery rate, that'll be helpful. Sorry, we just need to quickly cut him off. I don't really have to defeat his entire army. I just need to quickly march on his major cities and take them out, and I think that'll do the trick. I've already got LA. Let's go ahead down here, take San Diego, march our way up into San Francisco. I don't know how much those are even really worth. Dispute over the Constitution. We'll take the political power hit. That's fine. All right, we're working our way here. Already lost 36,000 men to his 12,000, so I'm quickly going to run out of men, but I think I'll be okay. Almost Christmas of 1866, and we're starting to get close. We're knocking on the door of Chicago. We've taken Columbus, about to take Washington. Very close to Pittsburgh. Having a little trouble out west, and I want to go take a look at that for a second, because he ended up having more than I expected, and so I marched all the way up to San Francisco, and since I can't see his divisions, I'm having a little trouble here, so my armies have actually gotten cut off. I've lost Los Angeles. His navy is huge, so of course that's an issue for me, but We're very quickly pushing up in probably by February, I should have him split, and we'll be in good shape moving forward. Let's take a look at the situation. I've lost 100,000 men. I'm down to just 89,000 left. He's only lost 32,000 men, but he's only got an army that's about half the size of mine. So this is just really a numbers game, kind of like the real Civil War was, but in the opposite direction. So I'm just going to deal with some of this stuff, and then very quickly here we should be able to take Washington. I don't know if it's a glitch or what that's not allowing me to see his armies, or it's just like an issue with decryption that is really causing that much of a problem for me that I can't even see the armies right in front of me. February 1867, Washington has fallen, and we're just going to start marching our way up and see if I can grab these major cities, because I think I can bring a quick end to the war if I can grab Philadelphia, New York, and maybe Boston. And I want to do that quickly because he's starting to cut off and isolate some of my units in the west. I just don't have the troops out there to be able to do this. So I want to bring a quick end to this war if I can. There's Philly. Let's see where we're at now. We're not quite there, only about 53% of the way there. I've lost 142,000 men. I'm just about out of manpower. There, New York has fallen. Where does that put us? Still not there. So what else do I need? I need Cleveland. I need Pittsburgh. Maybe go up and take Buffalo. Let's get up there and grab Boston while I'm marching down the coast. It doesn't appear he's got a lot to be able to cut me off with. I want to see how quickly I can end this just by taking enough victory points. Alright guys, let's get Cleveland here. Go for Pittsburgh. We're almost to Boston. Let me see where that puts me. There's Boston. Still not enough. That's 80% though. What am I missing that's big? Detroit is now the capital of the U.S., so that's kind of the big one. Let's see if we can try and sneak back in here and take Los Angeles. That's how many victory points? That's 30. Detroit is only 20, so actually LA is a bigger prize for me at this point. But we still want to take his capital. Is Providence worth? Providence is only worth 1. That's really not worth anything at all that I'm too concerned about. Pittsburgh's worth 15, so that's a decent prize. So if we take LA and Detroit, that may be enough. Alright, so there's Detroit. Where are we at now? We still need quite a bit more. What did he make his capital at this point? Come on, let's get in there and take LA. I don't know where his new capital is. Oh, it's Minneapolis. Okay. Got to be careful here. He could easily cut me off. There it is. Okay. The Treaty of Minneapolis. What can I take? I only got 51. Oh, no, I got 1,445 points. Okay. I can take the whole thing. Yes. Thank you. The United States is no more. The Confederate States of America now occupies just about all the territory, with the exception of a couple of Native American states, which we will very quickly deal with. But that is the situation. It's not going to change anything as far as my national focus tree goes, but I do now have a lot of territory. So we're going to wrap it up right there. I'm not going to play this very often moving forward. I know it's very popular, but just because of the lack of national focus, I feel like there's less to do than I would like. At some point, that will obviously change. But there's a lot I can do with research, and we'll continue to spread, and we'll see if we can't make the Confederate States of America very quickly the North American nation by taking out Mexico and Canada and the Hudson Bay Company. So let me know your thoughts. Please hit that thumbs up, and let me know what else you'd like to see, and we'll try to make that happen. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.